Okay. I think now we're live. Little delay. Let's see that there's a lot of mumbo jumbo going on here. It's terrible. Sorry about that little delay. Uh, what I haven't done in a while is the stained glass patterns Facebook group, little side by side chat on new posts, and kind of get the pulse of what's going on with the group. And I just wanted to say we just surpassed 188,000 members. And that's amazing. Everybody says congratulations to me. No, it's everybody. I mean, it's everybody that makes the group what it is, and you contribute. I mean, I do my share. I do the patterns and this and that. I don't do much glass, but a lot of you guys come along and show your work in progress and what you have done and ask questions. So it's multifaceted, the group. Pattern, stained glass pattern. That's what I do, but it's basically a generic term for stained glass, lifestyles. I should have called it stained glass lifestyles, right? No, I like stained glass pattern. Yeah, so 188,000 members. That's really a milestone. I guess 200,000 would be a better one, but I mean, I'll take 188. Anyhow, if you were a subscriber, you would have gotten notified. And if you see the chat, just jump in, say hello. I have it on live chat right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run through the forum. And let me go back to what I was showing before. My latest project is going to be, I keep saying a lot. What do I say gonna make these lanterns. And I found a few places that have them. You can get them on Amazon. They look like they're well made, and they're roughly in the $30 to $40 range. So if you're gonna put nice glass in it, it would really be worth doing something like that. There I go again. What I did is I went to Hobby Lobby and I picked up these two. They were on sale. The one on the right, the red one, was normally $35, $40. It's on sale, 50% off. And Chris, my son Chris, went and picked them up for me. I said, "Yeah, get that one." And I think I'm gonna put the Christmas trees in that one. I think the poinsettia might be too much of a, being that they're close in nature, the color. Being it's like a rose color. I think the Christmas trees will look nice in that. And then for the white one, I'm going to do the poinsettia. That's a relatively small lantern. The red one's actually, I'll show you. I could get a tape measure, a ruler. You can see that. It's roughly 5 inches wide, 13 inches tall, and this one's about 4 inches wide, by 10 inches tall, 9 to 10. I mean, they're a nice size. You could do quite a bit with them, but I'm used to making bigger lamps, so this is odd for me. But what I plan on doing with this one, have the poinsettia here, and I may actually simplify it a little bit because this is very small for this one, and then go just plain field glass on the side, and then maybe a mirror in the back. I was thinking of doing that. That might look nice. So this would be more of a shelf item. You can hang it, but I would say more or less where you can, you don't have to put a mirror in the back, so if you did hang it up, you can actually go with 2-point setters or go 4 if you want. It's a lot of work. This one would have to be disassembled from the bottom and the glass slid up this way. And you know, the candle, it's LED. I didn't try it out yet, but it should be enough to illuminate the glass. And as well as this, it has 3 candles inside with door, and it should be enough light for the stained glass. What I'm gonna do is this one here. I'm gonna have the Christmas trees in the front here, and I wasn't gonna do anything for the side, but then I thought, you know, for the angle view, maybe carry the background and maybe a small tree off to the side here, and then the same on this side. Something a little balanced off of the main view of the front panel. That's still up in the air, but I may do that to carry the design. Instead of 1 panel, go with 3. That's on my front burner. Oh, I don't know if you guys can hear me. I was far away from the mic. Yeah, I apologize. I think you heard me. Let's see. I'm gonna say hello. I'm just gonna go in the chat and say hello. Alright, so we're gonna go back to the forum. And I sure do hope I'm recording live. It's happened to me before. Actually, one time I didn't have the microphone on. Here I am doing everything, no sound. I've gotten better. I could see that I'm, you know, recording my audio. So at least we're progressing in that front. As far as this whole lot, for some reason, of late, there's been like a real hiccup with YouTube. And I don't know if it's on my end or it's a YouTube thing, or I really don't know. I'm going to go ahead and just hit that YouTube channel again here. Yeah, it's showing that I'm live. 7:56. That's a timer. Alright. Oh, we got 4. Okay. I could see this is YouTube Studio. It's something you could see what's going on. And look, you guys are chatting. There you go. Hi Pam. Hey Kathleen. And Pam again, and Kathleen. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm doing better. I've had better days, but I'm doing better. I'm actually looking forward to doing a lot of stained glass stuff. So I'm gonna. I see you guys chatting on the studio. I'm gonna go back here and let me just close this chat. And I'm gonna bring up another one. See if it shows up. No, I don't know. I'll rely on the other one. That's the weirdest thing. Let's go back to chat profile. Huh. Control panel. Go to that. Let's see if that works. I updated the software, but it seems to be really, really clunky lately. And things don't kind of work together. So, let's see, I'm going to go live chat. Just bear with me 1 second. Then we'll get to the talking about the forum. I'm just going to give up on it. I'm going to leave that and then go to this here. I could see the chat here. I'll just jump in every now and then. You guys can probably see what I see here. I can't figure it out. Maybe I'll try it again. Maybe now I broke through a little barrier, because I couldn't even get it to record. So anyway, let's go back to the forum. There we go. I think that's better. All right. So what I want to do is talk about Stained Glass Patterns forum on Facebook for just a little bit. And I used to do this, not a lot, but enough. I haven't done it in a long time. I just like to go down to recent topics, things that were discussed. And, as I said, we hit this 188,000 members now. It's pretty amazing. And I don't know if anyone heard me earlier, but it's the the full group. I mean, people talk about their stained glass that they made or what they're making, and they have questions. So it's a multifaceted group, and I just picked Stained Glass Patterns as a group name, just to come up with a name. It's like I could have called it Stained Glass Trends or Stained Glass Now. I don't know. Stained Glass Pattern. I do Stained Glass Patterns. So that's how that came about. Anyway, let's go back here. Kelly. Hi, Kelly. You're looking for a pattern of a fuchsia. Oh, I have one. It's it's an older one. I could check my Etsy page for you. I'll just send you one. Trying to remember. It's a heart with a fuchsia in it, and I made it. Geez, I'd say 27, 8 years ago, from 97, 98. But it's a heart in my Valentine series, and it has a fuchsia in it, if I recall correctly. It's a long time ago. Anyway, yeah, you could check. And if you want one, just say, hey, Gary, I want one. I could actually say that, check with me later. You know what? Or I could actually shoot the file up here now. I could probably do that. Let's see. You guys can see what I'm doing. Let's go. Let's see if we can do that. It's an Etsy. Let's look for it. Fuchsia. Fuchsia. Come on. Did I spell it right? Alright. Let's go back to there you go. These are all GIF formats. I'll try it. I should be able to get it to you in a better. There you go. All right. It's well. See, it thinks it's a video. That's what I can do. I've done this before. Let's go. Let's search for fuchsia. All right, and then we're going to open that up, and then I'll actually see. February of '99, I made this. So 26 years, yeah. All right. Let's put it here. Let's try that. Edit that. You guys see me go through my motions here. There you go. Try that. If you like it, be my guest. Have at it. checked on Etsy and haven't found. Yeah, I should do more. It's actually a very pretty flower, and not many like you have bleeding hearts and stuff that hang like this, and fuchsia's very pretty. I have the what do they call them? The snowdrops that do that too. But yeah, I should do more. I'm very lax lately. Well, I have too many patterns to think of. All right, let's just make sure we're back on here. All right, Rick Rickson. Oh, that's a cool name. It's like a race car driver, Rick Rickson. He probably is, right? So how'd you know that? um, what glass is the hardest or easiest to cut? Is there a difference in color as far? In color as okay. What glass is the hardest to cut? Well, I'd say the hardest glass to cut is the dense white striated glass. You know, anything with any heavy texture, opacity, white. Reason being, it's got high levels of antimony in it. Antimony is what makes it white. And you compare it to, antimony is used to making porcelain. It's very durable, very strong element. So they use that to make white glass. So that's what makes white so hard to cut. And then you get the white swirls in glass, and when you hit the white, and your cut goes off, and it's like, oh, what happened? Well, that's what happened. It's just the nature of the mineral, the antimony. And the easiest glass is naturally plate glass, regular window glass. 1/8 inch, very easy to cut, or single strength, which is 3/32, or 2 millimeter. The reason being, it's very smooth. It's floated with arsenic, and there's not much in the way as far as like divots and bumps that'll get you in trouble and mess up your scoring. As far as stained glass goes, the easiest, and a lot of people will find it, is your cathedrals, which have no density to it, no opacity. And a good one to mention is like an amber cathedral, a double rolled, glass. Amber, green, even blues are very easy. Once you start getting into the harder glass, the reds, the yellows, the golds, more with the seleniums and the harder material in it, it becomes a little bit, tougher to cut. But the easiest is probably a light amber cathedral, or a Flemish double rolled, or anything like that. Like glue chip is not a fair assessment on that, because it's more like a plate glass, but it is easy to cut. And the more denser the glass, and the more nicer looking, you really extreme art glass, like the Uroboros and the Yakuganis and glass like that, get a lot of texture and color variation that makes glass more difficult to cut. I'm going to go kind of quick on that. I think I kind of helped. Yeah, right here, Lisa says, yeah, white glass. That's because of the antimony, Lisa. You're not alone. There are ways to get around it. I tend to use a duller cutter, or a cutter with a not as sharp honing angle, which helps cut the antimony, and a little bit more pressure. There is when you cut white glass, you want to use more of a glazing type glass cutter for window glass. You don't want to use your real sharp glass cutters like the Silberschnitz or the the Toyos that are more of a sharper glass cutter. That's why you're having a problem with white glass. And not many people know that, but that's what's going on. You want to use a glass cutter. It's actually the cheap ones, a cheap $5 cutter, and use that to cut your white glass, and you'll find a lot more success with that. Recently, I found the cutters made by Cobalt for window glass would have more success with white glass because it's designed for float glass, which has a less pointed hone on it, and it's carbide, which that even adds to that appeal. I did do a test run, and I found that the Cobalt glass cutter works really well. So if you have any trouble with white glass, head over to Lowe's and get yourself a Cobalt cutter. And you really don't have to press harder, but just make sure you do a test score first, and you'll find out that it'll cut the white glass better for you. All right, it cuts all glass really, but it gets through the white glass really nice. And Josh, all the hot colors, Josh, the reds, orange, yellows, the pinks, they are harder than average, say over blues and golds and greens. So yeah, that's definitely a good observation, Josh. And it's true. I mean, it's some vary your pressure. Try using a different cutter or duller cutter. Right. UF Gator Head. I don't know. Oh, is that University of Florida? Yeah, look around. Ask AI. I'm not kidding. So you got a Gator stained glass. Boom. Within 5 seconds, you have 4. All right. Yeah, Cat's Creation. He's made several patterns. Yeah, Kat's a very good artist. She's got an eye. So yeah, Barbara's right. Try cats. All right, let's see. Cindy Goldwyn. My first lead came ready to solder. Look at you go. That's your first one. I'll tell you, that's not the easiest one to do for your first one, due to all the angles, mitering, and just the nature of the fit. The way, if your glass is growing any bit on you, you're going to have issues with how things line up when you move out from the center or across the top if you build from the bottom. Yeah, it's your first lead piece. Congratulations. Keep going at it. Before you solder, just get yourself a little, knife or something. Make sure all your joints are lining up good. You can push your lead over back and forth a little bit before you solder. Make sure they're lined up, like in this area up here. Make sure everything's lined up well, and then solder. Sometimes you can put a little. Let's see how to blow this up. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Like here you have a little issue. You're short, but just put a little solder up here, and then push this over with the knife to line up. So you have better fit. A little short here. It looks like your lead as well has tarnished a bit. You may want to hit it with a brass. Use a soft brass brush. No steel wool. Steel wool will make more problems with the fiber, the steel fibers. You get a very soft brass brush and just, like an X over your joints. This lead looks like it's a little bit tarnished. And just be careful with that. It will mess you up. Any tarnishing. So, but good luck and welcome to the Lead Club. I guess you can call it the Lead Club. Let's see. Yeah, once you do lead, you look at foil again, you're like, I don't know. Alright. Be kissed glass. What kind of type of pattern you like doing? Ooh, that's a broad brush. Wait, for my house construction, yeah, anything. Enjoy your house. I don't know. I find that I used to do the Pattern of the Month Club years ago when I first started doing patterns commercially, and every month would be a new challenge. I would make 6 patterns in the month, and that was my goal. So for every month, I would use a monthly theme. Say January is New Year's winter theme, and February Valentine's, March comes St. Patty's, April with Easter, and I would complete my year of patterns with monthly themes. So looking at August, you have the end of summer, looking toward fall. So go into the fall themes, maybe something with leaves or what have you. Something fall related. And then you have Halloween coming up. So my thing is more or less seasonally themed. If that makes sense. And yeah, I like doing all patterns. I guess I don't like doing bevels because they're already cut and they become a problem. I have done many bevels, but I like to create my own my own lines. So if that makes sense. Alright, let's see, bones. Yeah, that's a great opening question. As far as no one commented 2 hours ago. Bones and bevels. Where'd you get a name like that? Bones and bevels. Looks like Medusa. Oh yeah, there it is, Medusa. See, I know my Macbeth. Is that Macbeth? Was that Othello? I don't know. I want to know. Someone turns people to stone, right? Very good. I actually had nightmares about that. We got, it was junior high. I mean, it's just reading about Greek mythology, and some of that stuff is pretty violent. Think about it. And I had the dream Medusa came and got me. With the snakes. There was a movie about it. I forgot the name of it. Let me check in chat. Let's see, maybe someone would know. I hear you fine. Let's see. Anybody knows what the story of Medusa is? Just chime in. Let's see. Let me go back to Facebook here. Commissioned to make this cute butterfly. I offered 2 color options, so happy to hear the buyer's pick. Oh, okay. Well, that's Phoenix again. Soul Catchers. Very nice, soft peach. She does some nice work. Anyone knows Phoenix Soul Catchers? She really has a nice eye for how she does things. I could say that. A lot of people do. There's something about, she has a certain element, which is very nice stuff. Let's see. And Michelle Monroe. Rubber duck number 2. That's with the lips. That's cute. Looks like she's been drinking wine too. No, that's cute, Michelle. You guys come up with the funniest, the cutest stuff. Let me tell you. I love them rubber ducks. Yeah. Dipsy Dot. A brand new Modern Mountain pattern is here. Yeah. It looks brand new. I don't think I've ever seen that. I think Dipsy Dot is pre-approved, but I'll let it slide. It's a new pattern announcement. Yeah, I hope there's no two-tier pricing. I don't think. I think Dipsy's is good to go. I'll check out later. Yeah, I don't want to get into the whole conversation about two-tier pricing and why it turns people off. Why people. It's really. It doesn't benefit the whole purpose of selling patterns other than to spike the sale of the lesser priced item and make people feel uncomfortable if they didn't buy the commercial. I mean, it's not good. I got a lot of folks that just say, and there is a little sneakiness behind it. They actually tell you if you go to Etsy school, do two-tier pricing on digital, you'll sell more of this or that. It's disingenuous. So I don't allow it. I don't allow it. I mean, who am I to say? I'm not Facebook tyrant. Well, you know what? It's not. It's unscrupulous. It's really bad. It's bad for sellers. It's bad for buyers. It's just charge one price. Let people be creative. They want to make $1 million. No, who's going to make $1 million? Make 100 or make one. If they don't want to sell them, and it's just a hot mess. Just avoid it. I used to allow it. I said, so many people getting upset with it, and I said, no, be upfront about everything. The best way to put hooks. This looks like one of those, it looks like a coat hanger type of thing. I think you overdid it here. What you could do is just take your loop and twist up the wire in the back. Can we see that? I guess we can see that. Yeah. I think we can see that. And then extend the loop, the wire, and catch this line right here. That should be strong enough in conjunction with this and that to not pull out on you. It should be. For this to pull through, it would take quite a bit. That's what I would do. Just put it behind it and call it a day. And then you would have preserved your lead edging. Excuse me. Yeah. You got a lot of people chiming in on that one. Let's see. We're in 30 minutes. Let's see. I don't want to go long. So yeah, 38 minutes. That's not too bad. Let's go back to the group. Plenty of 2x4 sheets of 200S. Well, you know what? That's actually it's a solid white used for inscriptions. It's what do you call that? Pot white. And it was actually really cheap back in the day. It's just solid white. I got plenty. Yeah. It's a little tricky to cut. Not terrible, but it could run on you because it's got the antimony in it as well. Not terribly, but It's not like an opaque glass, with striations in it. Alright. I can't justify that curve. Neither can I. Bones and bubbles. I'm from that side of the conversation. I just don't like it. It turns me off. I don't know why. I mean, I've seen it done with beveled glass, and I don't know. I think it's too bling bling. The foo foo thing. It doesn't do anything for me. I mean, iridized glass the same. Unless you put it in the right place, like dragonfly wings or what have you. Where you need iridescent, appeal. Other than that, I don't see the real. I mean, I'm probably very alone on this. I don't see the attraction to it. That's just me. Yeah, it's pretty, but it's like the application. I don't know. Huh. Tiffany Thomas. That's funny. Yeah. Oh, there's me, my lanterns. Yeah, I was gonna just do a front panel. I said, you know what? Let me take this area, carry it over, and make it a 3-panel series. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'll leave one star and then the focal area of the 3 trees. Maybe have a stray tree here and something else over there. I haven't really decided yet. It's kind of like a change in direction. Because these lanterns, you really don't look at them straight on all the time. You want something out of the side a little bit. And we'll see. I've never done a lantern. I've done lights like that, but nothing, nothing like this. We'll see. They call it a work in progress. Yeah, Chris is getting. Well, thank you, Shelley. I kind of just threw it together, but I was thinking, for Christmas, the whole Christmas spirit and season starts with getting a tree. That day the family gets together and they head out, whether it's a month before or a week before or Christmas Eve, and they go get their tree. That's what that moment, at least for me, when the tree comes out, that's when Christmas starts. And that's when all the emotional feelings start coming together with the smells of the pine and the family. And I put the star in there. That's kind of like a symbol of faith. I don't know why. I just put it in there. It looked kind of neat. Yeah, it's like, the North Star and the 3 wise men and the 3 trees. I mean, there's a lot of symbolism here. So that's why I put it there. I'd say I just threw it together. I did, but I thought about it for 2 weeks. Or whatever. Well, I've thought about that concept for a very long time. I don't know. That's how a lot of my patterns are made. I do a lot of, I guess, mulling over the concepts when I come up with them. And actually, a lot of those concepts come up while you're making the pattern, which is it's something difficult to explain. But when a lot of people say I can't draw, they get intimidated about creating something. I always say, pick up a pencil and start doodling. Don't be afraid of using the eraser. But you'd be surprised. And if things are done systematically and using elements of design, it'll eventually it just all starts pulling together. And even the seasoned stained glass designers and artists and people that make patterns, and they still have that apprehensiveness before a pattern is made, unless they already know what they're doing. But whenever you're coming up with something new, a lot of it is spur of the moment. It's creativity on the fly, and no one can control that but you, and no two people are the same. So anything you do draw, or you know, why am I getting into drawing? I don't know. I'm losing my mind. I should be talking about this subject. Yeah, but that's a good subject. There's a lot of people who do have the fear of making something nice. I don't. Just drop that. Just get rid of it. It's yeah. Anyway, I'm totally. Do you add lines to the glass similar to the had a picture where there are lines? I think she's thinking about stained glass overlay and epoxy. Yeah, they're all separate lines. Glass, so the lines are formed by the copper and the solder. So I think you got to spend it, Sharon. You got to spend a little more time on the forum, and learn stained glass. There's lots to it than just putting the line. There's a whole. It's a big thing to do. I don't see. I think she's talking about the starfish. The header. Yeah, overlay wire. Yeah, you can do overlay. So she's leaning more toward with the epoxy, the stained glass SGO, stained glass overlay, with the epoxy and the colored pigments. I don't think she's aware that stained glass is segmented. This is interesting. I've seen this somewhere. I did part of a lamp or something, but I'd seen this part, and I saw this post earlier. But this iron, it's got me confused. I don't know. It looks like it could be for repairing, vinyl or plastic, like a auto body shop where they meld together repairs. I don't see this being used for stained glass, but I could be wrong. This Magic Touch, I have no idea. I've seen them too. I just don't know. It's not anything I've ever used. This could be a lamp part. I don't know, with all these holes. But I've seen that part before. And boxes that hold 5 brushes. Could be. And foil tools are secured down. Could be. A lot of good guesses. Well, explain that tip to me. I don't know. You ever see the folks that do auto repairs on plastic cars? They actually use these metal clips, and they burn them right into the plastic to hold together. Then they put the Bondo in and all that. It's pretty interesting. Your newest. Wait, I gotta stand on my head. No, just kidding. It's a bat. Very nice, Jennifer. There's something about bats, I did that bat lady recently. There's just something about bats. I don't know, vampires? I don't know. Hang upside down. Yeah. Birdie Perch. Mermaid Part 3. Yeah. It's like, bats and mermaids. What is it about mermaids? I think the lack of vitamin C on those ships. Oh boy, that's a nasty cut. Well, you should have cut that one first. But you gotta grind it, don't worry about it. I'm being a wise guy. Yeah, you got it done, right? That's all that matters. Where did you get the pattern? Huh. I'm gonna say Birdie Perch drew it herself. Right? Yeah, I think it's a woman. Yeah, Birdie Perch. Let's see, I drew it myself. Watch. Load, load, load. My husband and I, let's see, finish her. Yep, it's on Etsy. I knew that. There's a lot of people Etsying and doing this and that. It's hard to keep up with everybody. But there's a few names you remember, and you recall, their style and this and that. This is another cute one. I saw this one earlier, with the eyes and the glue and all that, and the paint. Yeah, it's cute. Let's see, stainless. There it is again. Huh. It felt so good posting. I had to post it twice. 11 hours. And this one, I don't know. It's okay. I'm not going to do anything about it. Yeah, that's fine. I used to not like this, all these hashtags, but I've given up on it right now. I've come to terms with it. It's not good. It's spamming, but you know what? It is what it is. Because a lot of video editing things like YouTube, and they ask you to put hashtags. I was like, you know what? It's almost like you can't avoid it. So I gave up. I said, do the hashtags. If I see, this 3, 4. If there's 100, I might have to step in. Like, you're spamming. Right? No one likes seeing that. Right. Oh, here's me again, my poinsettia. Yeah, this one, I like the idea with the white lantern. This was a second. It was designed for this shape. This one actually stretched it out a little bit too much. I may shrink it and add a little more background down here, just to relax that stretch a little bit. But I just literally stretched the pattern on the computer. So this one didn't matter. It worked out. But this one, I don't like the way the poinsettia leaf is a little long here. I'd rather have it more consistent. That's my self-criticism right here. You're going to know behind the scenes. It's like before I publish a pattern, I sit on it. Sometimes I'll publish right away because I'm content. And there's a feeling of content when you make a pattern and you don't feel any discomfort. I hope that makes a little sense. But if you do feel it, like this one, I like it a lot. I just say, you know what, there's just a little discontent, and this is the reason. And so I'm going to have to make an adjustment here. All right? So if you want to know what I'm thinking when I do artwork, that's what I think about. Because what happens is if you just ignore it and just send it out, it's going to haunt you. It's going to come back. So before I do a final publishing, I'm going to fix this petal here. It's fine the way it is. But, it's just not meeting my standards 100%. 95%. Yeah, Hobby Lobby. Yeah, I sent them an email today. I said, you know what? I'll sell you lamps, your things. I'll promote them, and if you want, you can offer kits with your lamps and put them in the hobby, the stained glass hobby area, and and or you know, work with me as far as uh, all my patterns. I'll put a hashtag that not a hashtag, a QR code that points to your online, location where people can find these lanterns. Work something out. I'd be willing to do that. Not so much for a sponsorship thing, but for like a partnership. So I'm going to try to work something out, as well as with my books. I'm getting prices for mass publishing for my books right now. I didn't check my email, but they do. My publisher does sell my books by the case. I think it's like 25 or 50 books at a wholesale discount. So we'll see. I, uh, I do have a few on Amazon, but honestly, with the markup, they charge too much. I don't have to charge that much for my books. I mean, they're expensive as it is. $30 to $60 a book. No, 50. I think 50 is maybe 60. But they're expensive enough. It's not adding 50%. All right, let's see. And here, use drum. No, I would not use a Dremel tool. I don't care how soft that thing is. Would never use it. Some glass, especially softer glass, you will scratch it with that. You say, how could I scratch it? It's so soft. No, it'll scratch it. Just avoid it. I mean, it may look nice, and no, I wouldn't do it. I just got a hand brush. Do it by hand. Because even if you have a little grinder residue on your glass and you hit it with that, it's going to send out scratches that may not appear right away, but from dust or something, it may show up later, or get like a change in the sheen of the glass. So just ixnay on the Dremel. I could speak that, Pig Latin? No. Electric tooth. Oy, oy, oy. Okay. Donna, I'm not picking on you. That's probably a good way to clean your piece. A polishing? Just take a soap brush, a horsehair, right? One of those, just pledge and buff it up. You'd be surprised how shiny it gets. It's real shiny. Kicking out a lot of lead dust. Oh, I didn't think about that. I don't think it's kicking it out, but it's it's spreading it around. Yeah, I'd say that. Super fun site. That's super. You're gonna have lead dust walls. Oh, she's right. That's probably lead right there. uh, I'm being mean. I have to apologize. I'm from the old school of lead current heritage. It's in the water. It's in the cars. It's in the pipes. It's in the cans. My dad used to wear it on his clothes, and I used to chew it as a kid. Never hurt anybody. I don't know. I don't want to get into that hot subject of lead poisoning, but I don't think it's going to be an issue with the Trump. I mean, you have. I don't want to get into it. I'm sorry, I'm going to talk about lead poisoning. I'm looking for a pattern of cherry blossom. I was going to say apple blossoms and cherry blossoms are my two most favorite subject, flower subject for stained glass. You look at the Tiffany cherry blossom, the apple blossoms. I think there was a soft spot for Tiffany with apple and cherry blossoms, and rightfully so. They're very pretty, and dogwoods. But yeah, I'm guilty. I should be making more of them. I've considered it many times. I think I have a cherry blossom. I never, there's just so many patterns to do. I saw a really pretty crocus today. Like, crocus flower is one of the most prettiest flowers, when they come out in early spring, even through the snow. There's beautiful petals on those things. I've never done a crocus. Yeah, Kat, I'm sure she has quite a bit. Let's see. Yeah, go see Kat. Let's see. Thank you for your continued support of stained glass art. The coolest thing made in North Carolina. Oh yeah. Look. Anyway, vote now. Veteran owned stained glass. OGC. Oh, I think I've heard of OGC. Alright, you got my curiosity. Fuquay, that's right. That's up by Raleigh. Yeah, I recall seeing the shop. There's a lot of glass up in the mid to western areas of North Carolina. Statesville has the big shop, and a few in Raleigh, Durham area, and here's another one, Fuquay Varina. I just called it Fuquay. They knew what I was talking about. Good luck with the whatever. Support, vote for. Check it out later. Click, vote, share. See more. Coolest things made in. Okay. You got it. So I'm letting all that go. I'm not gonna delete this anymore. I'm not gonna. But it's spam. Okay. Especially if this is repeated in the same content in another location. It's spamming. Spam. You actually, the only time hashtags work to promote anything is interweb. So basically anyone on Facebook who searches for this, you might get noticed. But in the real world, this overuse of spam and keywords and all that, I mean, take my advice. I'm an old school SEO guy. I know about that. And it's spamming, right? So I don't like it. And a lot of people don't like it. For other reasons, but that's my reason. Because once you spam here, you spam in the whole group. This looks like it's an embedded post, so it's really not going to affect it. It's going to affect your post here. It's actually going to bring it down. All right? That's a little advice. Get rid of that. Keep it straight up, clean. Keyword tag. And I get you better results. And look, Paola. Look, I saw that. I said, hey, that looks like my pattern. I'm like, it is my pattern. And I really appreciate it because I put that right up on my Etsy page. I asked if I could, and you graciously said yes. Well, I said, oh, yeah. I said, great job, yeah. Yeah. Oh, thank you. It's a lovely pattern. And then I said, yeah, you captured the moon. And then I asked somewhere, oh, you're right here. may I use it? And I did. It looks great, by the way. And you really, with the moon, you got iridized clear here. Now that's where the iridized glass comes in. It looks nice. Because it becomes its own entity. And it has, if you look at the moon, especially through a misty night where it's a light haze or something, you will see the iridescence of the sky with the water vapor. So yeah, it's very appropriate, and I think this is awesome with the purple, and you nailed it. This is perfect, and I meant what I said. Great job. Looks great. This thing, this plague doctor thing, this thing is freaky, and it was real, and I guess it scared a lot of people back 100 years ago. Still scare me. See, I don't really know the story of the plague doctor, but I know it's during the plague, and the mask was to protect or show I'm the one, whatever, taking care of business guy. A scary dude. Well, it is Halloween season. Bones and Bones. I don't know the card. I think that's Europe. Anyway. Jenny Buno, umbrella. Oh yeah, that's the one that I did. I think. I did my version of it. Oh, that big bug. Get out of my face, big bug. Long shot. Anyone know where I could find a pattern of a blue-footed boobies? It's the marine bird. We all knew that. Yeah, it's a blue-footed boobies. They're up in Oregon, right? Huh? Is that? I think. Yeah, those are cool birds. They're actually very colorful. And they live in cliffs, I believe. I could be wrong. Look, cat, she's got one. Of course she does. Cat, you got everything. No, I really admire her pattern abilities. Yeah, I made up a word, a pattern ability. And she has it, Miss Patrick. Oh, my silly question. Oh, yeah. I was having a moment. I said, you know what? I know a lot of people appreciate the things I do, and that's why I said it's a silly question. And it's kind of like to shed light on it. It's like I had a thinking moment. I said, you know what? Over the years doing this stained glass patterns, and before, my whole life revolved around sharing patterns. I started with my mom back in the early '80s. She'd ask me, "Hey Gary, can you make me this? Can you make?" And the warm feeling you got, or I got, when I said, "Yeah, Ma, I'll try it." And I was a kid. I was 20 years old. So I drew something up, and the look on her face, she lit up with appreciation, and love for me, what I did. And that just was just the beginning, because then she made the glass, and she showed it off. Boy, I'll tell you, and the feeling I got from that was my main inspiration for sharing. Nothing like a mother-son relationship. You guys, be manly about it, the mother-son relationship, you know what I'm talking about. And for your moms out there, that mother-son relationship. Well, I had it with my mom. And it was all early on in the stained glass business when we became, separated from the other part of the family. And we were kind of like on her own, really. And Mom ran, a stained glass store, and she made sun catchers to sell them and commission. She did consignment work, and she frequently asked me to make her patterns, and I jumped right on it because when I did, I had the acknowledgement from her. It's from my mom, and that's why. I mean, and I don't want to get into it, but I get accused of um, extorting people, that use my pattern. Well, let me tell you, when I see people use my pattern, like the sun, like the lighthouse and the moon, that feeling I get brings me back to my mom. I see people using my patterns, making glass out of them. That brings me back to that, and that well, I could see people appreciate, using my pattern, my art, for their creativity. I mean, I'll tell you, the appreciation right there. The it's just the feeling of them doing that, and that you share it with somebody to make them happy for a moment in time. I mean, so I was accused of trying to extort somebody. And it totally is against the grain of everything I believe in and do. And that's kind of why I came up with this. No strings attached. I'm still offended. I'm still almost a month into it, and still I'm having a hard time sleeping. I'm medicated. Boy, they got me on this stuff, and anyway, yeah. I that's kind of like, I didn't do this for self-aggrandizing purposes. I did it to just reassure me. If this post lit up like it did, 603, right? And I posted it not even a day ago, 21 hours. Yeah, I would say my silly question was answered. And from me, I really do appreciate you guys and your support. That meant a lot to me. So I kind of did it just to get myself out of the gutter a little bit, the rut I'm in. And I wasn't using anybody. I wasn't extorting you for your good feelings and heartfelt comments. I did it for, like saying, hey, maybe I'm imagining it. Maybe people don't like me. They don't appreciate me. So yeah, and I didn't think too hard about it. So you know what? I'll just throw it out there. You appreciate me and whatever, and you guys do. And that means a lot to me. Alright? Anyway. And that goes back to my mom. Alright? And that's why I do it. I will never ever, you make something, one of my parents, I say, hey, I would never ever extort anybody. I never did, never would, and it's like, I'd rather give you 10 more patterns. If you got a pattern illegally or whatever, immorally, I don't care. I care. People should be compensated for their work and all that. But if it happened and you made something pretty, well, that just all goes away, and I don't care. And I mean that. It's like, I'll never say, hey, that's my pattern. I never do that. I never do that. And I'm not just saying that. I never do that. I get people plastering all over places. I won't even say that I extort. Yeah, that hurts. It hurts a lot. And yeah, we hit 188,000 members yesterday. And we're already up to 88.1. And yeah, it's everybody. It's a big family we have here, and I know I'm a part of it, and I do. They call them influencers. I do things for the group that get people excited. With patterns and talking about my family history. And people come along, ask questions. They know I'm here. They know there's other people here who are very tuned into this stained glass. Yeah, that's the reason why there's 188,000 members. I try to moderate with a fair hand as best as I can. It is very difficult. So, for the folks that say, "Oh, Gary, you hate me," this because I suspended somebody, which I've been accused of banning people. I could count on my hand how many people I've actually banned. That weren't like total spammers. That were just out of control jerks. I just removed their membership, and they could still see why. You can see the. I don't ban people. I mean, I have. You come out and you're just a complete jerk. Yeah, you know what? I already removed you once. You came back. You rejoined. Well, your suspension's over, and then you doubled down, and you said something so ridiculous and condescending, rude, and obnoxious. They say, you know what? You just earned a ban, because I don't want that back. And yeah, I have, and I could say it. On one hand, I could say I've banned that many people. There's steps like suspension, and you can go between 1 day and 28 days. So if it's mild, you get a 1 day. You say, you know what? Don't do that again. Take a day to think about it, cool off. And then if it's moderate, you might get a week. So you might need a week to think about that. And it's very fair-handed. I don't just get mad at somebody and say, you're suspended. But I will suspend you if I'm talking about a rule that's serious, that requires, respect, for the group. You don't respect the rules of the group. That's just basically saying you're an agitator. You're not respecting the group rules. You can agree with them or not. You don't have to come up and make mockery of it. And, I've suspended people, and I'll say openly, there's little avatars here. I say something that's very serious, that needs attention, and, should be dealt soberly. And then they come along and they start throwing a laughing emoji at it, like these things. And it's like they're spitting in my face. So you know what? Yeah, I banned you for a couple of days for that. So and I tell you, I say, take a hike or don't cool off. I don't tell people to take a hike. Very rarely. I have, but I don't know. But yeah, you disrespect the rules. That's one of the rules. You don't make mockery or disrespect the rules. And the rules are there not for me. The rules are there for the group of 188,000 members. That's why you have rules. That's why you have laws. And I do it, very even-handedly. And folks reach out. They say, "Hey, you suspended me. Why did you suspend?" And I'll tell them. And I've had people say, "Well, I didn't think you. I thought you were joking." Oh, all right. Well, we take off the suspension. Or they just live out the suspension and just forget about it. I don't ban people. I've never banned anybody for putting up a laughing emoji. Never have, never will, never. If I see you coming back time and time again, just being an agitator, yeah, I'm going to take you out of the group. I'm going to actually delete your membership. Right? Look at me, I'm scrolling. I do that. I start talking. This one's really cool. Water to Wine. That's that red Baroque. It's perfect. And they were waiting for the right glass. Yeah, that's a really nice use of that glass. And Glass Sanctuary. Uh, I've heard of them too. I apologize. I don't know enough about you, but I've heard of you. And yeah, you did a really nice job with that Baroque glass. It's like almost like a blood red here, very dark. It's very pretty glass. Looks good. Uh, yeah, I get on my subject, trying to defend my actions. I think I shouldn't have to. Alright. Oh yeah, this one, the advice, about using restrip and all that. You know what? I think a lot of the restrip, unless it's, I think I mentioned, yeah, if it's going to be in a ceiling, but there are times when you really don't need it. You got enough pieces here. The strength in this alone is you're not going to need a restrip. My eye went to the circle. If you're going to support it, it's going to be in the door. Put some, something behind the circle, because that's going to be your weak area here, here, any kind of, hot areas, where it could bend. So you want to really make sure that's secured. Maybe you want something here to there. Other than that, you don't need it. You don't need to run all kinds of bars. And I don't think it's overly a large panel, even if it was. I think the whole hinge thing and restrip, it's a little overrated. Just a little bit. If you need support, 4 or 5 square feet. Yeah, that's a good rule of thumb, TR. That's 5 square feet. Basically, that's my rebar rule. I put a 1/2 inch rebar on something. 2 by 3, 6 square feet. So, yeah. I've made them bigger without it, but that's because of the matrix of the design. Stained glass, especially over time, look at something with a solid line going across the bottom, the weight of the glass is going to push, so you might want to put reinforcement at the bottom. Like here, this area here, you might get a little buckling, just in the weight of this glass pushing downward. So, but it's nearly impossible unless you want to shoot something behind the glass. But in this case, that's why they use saddle bars too. Saddle bars are anchored in the frames, and use ties on the joint areas to actually hold the window up, keep it from going downward. And the saddle bars the wires would actually break in time, and once they fail, the window starts falling down and pumping out at the bottom. So if you ever do any kind of rebar, 1/2 inch, put a nice, notch in it, like an arrow, and anchor it into your trim. Any kind of quarter round, or your shoe stop or whatever, 1/2 by 3/4 inch stop, and actually take that rebar and bury it into that stop. It'll keep it from dropping down. Not so much the lateral, front to back, it's more the coming down of the window. I'm sorry, Larry, I'm using your window to explain that, but that's why you want to use reinforcement. And first lead came. Yeah, if you can get yourself some of that Cascade #2 lead, it's a little harder to bend, but it's going to really do you well for a design like this. The reason why I would use it also because holds a straight line better than the softer LEDs that tend to get wavy. They give you a nice hard crisp line, and it's a Cascade number 2. Uh, it's a stiffer lead, and it's stiffer because it has higher levels of antimony and tin. So antimony again is the element that will make the lead stronger, firmer. All right, so look up Cascade number 2. I refer to it as a high tensile lead. Over the softer lead that you hold out a 2-foot piece of lead and it just sags right over. But a high tensile lead, you can hold it 2-foot piece out, 2-foot piece of 1/4-inch round H lead away from, pointing outward. It'll stay there. It's that strong. Now, eventually it'll sag, but it's not going to sag like the softer lead. That's lower in antimony, or your standard lead that's used for lead cane. So yeah, go for the high tensile lead. You're gonna really like it. It's harder to work with, and actually you would more or less need to use lead dikes to cut it. Or you can use one of those chop saw things. But you don't need it. The lead dikes is enough. And build it with that. And as well, the high tensile lead is more resilient to melting when you solder. You have less chance of having melt through. Right? And it blends well with 50/50 as well, also. So look into, I know Sunshine Glass and Ed Hoy carry the high tensile lead. Don't just get regular lead cane. Ask for it. I want Cascade number 2. My advice on this one. I use it pretty much for everything, unless it's really delicate, 3/16 or 1/8-inch lead. 3/16 comes in a high tensile lead, but if you want it for more detailed areas and delicate areas of a window, you don't want to use the high tensile. I mean, you're going to kill yourself. Your fingers are going to be bleeding. So you could still bend it with the lead dikes. You could bend it, but you want to use the softer lead. But anything geometric, go for the high tensile lead. And here, 1/4-inch would be appropriate for the whole thing. Don't go too thin with it. You go in lead, be bold. Not saying 3/8. You could use 3/8, but 1/4-inch should be perfect for this. Lost out. Sometimes the design is so much better. Yeah. Well, I find copper foil has its place, and so does lead. Especially geometrics, lead is definitely what you want to do. Not saying you can't use lead for intricate work either. I have done both. But copper foil would lead to the varying differences of the solder lines, which can be very appealing in a lot of windows or things you make, with the shadowing, intentional heaviness, which you'll see in my patterns. I do it quite often. Enough. I'd say 25%. Any clue to judge the age of a piece? Well, there's a few ways. 19. Well, it depends. This glass here, maybe I had a better look at it. Looks like English, the Flemish. Looks like could be European made, could be American made. But one way you tell definitely with lead, if it's rounded, if it's got a rounded crown on it, it's most likely not most likely, it will be uh, post 50s, say, late mid to late 50s. That's when they started making round cap lead, round crown. Before that, they made decorative lead. English companies made lead with contours and this and that. But for standard leaded work, most of it, if not all of it, was done with the flat, 3/8 flat or quarter inch. It's a flat profile lead. So if it is rounded, it's definitely not older than, I'd say, 1958, 56, 57. Now, I don't know the exact year, but we used to be able to tell. And also, lead, if it starts getting like flaky and dusty, it's going to show its age as well. As far as the glass goes, this is, it looks to me like it's Flemish. It's got heavy not bubbles, but boils and mounds in it. And, this could be a seeded clear or a textured clear Pilkington glass. I don't know. I don't have a good look at it. But, yeah, that's how you tell. If it's got rounded lead, it's not going to be any more than, 60, 70 years old. Definitely not 1890. But they did have cathedral glass, and I do believe the Flemish, the heavy Flemish was used back then as well. So that you can't go by that. There are other ways, and then this could have been reglazed. So, it all depends. You get the history of this piece, they may find or be able to tell you who made it. That's it. As far as value, yeah, it's okay. It's Edwardian, little deco Edwardian look to it. It matches the piece, fairly nice. I'm going to look up my timer. And, yep, we're right on the cusp of shutting down. So, yeah, guys, I wanted to, I kind of miss going live. I haven't, excuse me, haven't done it in a while. And I just wanted to touch base on just random. I don't write stuff down. I just kind of wing it. It's all impromptu. So, I just get the thought, say, I want to go live. And then I do it. I don't want to schedule myself to do it. I mean, I have for contests and this and that, but, go live. You could always watch it later. But look at this. Look at these, speaking of dogwoods, right? 12 by 12. Let's see, I skipped because I was yammering again. 12 by 12. It's kind of pleasing how it turned out. What you think? The hubby's got to get the wooden frame going. They're both retired. He does fine woodworking. Well, come on, hubby. I see a stained glass window for you. I have a bluebird. Very nice. You have a nice random array of layout of the flowers, which I like a lot. There's really no symmetry other than a little bit of a pointed angle, but that's fine because that happens. And the bird's a little straightforward, but it looks really nice. I'm not criticizing the work at all. It's just that, this is what I'm thinking. But it's very nice. I do like it a lot because you use a technique here that not many do. There is symmetry, but you also have randomness. For example, this flower it's kind of looks ratty, but it looks beautiful because that's how in the life of dogwoods, that's how they look sometimes. They tend to look like that. Uh, Again, here you have a little bumping and irregularities, and the layout. You have little cluster leaning to. It's a very nice layout. So Ann Eldest, you did very nice job. Come on, hubby, get the wood going. I especially like the way you didn't just take what I'm trying to get at. You didn't take one dogwood and go stamp, 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 stamp. You have variegated petal work going on here, which is very appealing. Yeah. Very good. I love seagulls. They're waiting for a forever home. Yeah, I used to work on a boat, and seagulls were like they were like your friends. I had two I called Pal and Stupid Pal. One was a little herring gull. They're the smaller ones, and then I had the blackback gull, which is a bigger gull. It was the big gawky gull. He was Stupid Pal, but he was very friendly. But the little herring gull one, I could pet him. He used to come on my boat. He's my pal, and he used to say hello every day. He'd come out. I don't know where he came from, but he just shows up and he like talks to me, and he wants his little treat. So I'd open up, a clam for him. I was clamming, and I'd feed him clams. I'd hold the shell for him, and he'd pick it out. That was my pal. So I love seagulls, and this is adorable. He bit off more than he could chew. And look at those eyes. I think it's great. It's not a penguin, Tom. I hope it's not a penguin. I hope if it's a penguin, I'm out of here. I think it's a seagull. I'm running with it. All right, Terry. I'm gonna close off on Terry. Terry asked me a private message about flipping this thing. It's 3 foot by 3 foot, and you start getting to that size. It's a little difficult to get your arm across the panel to turn it over or run it to the edge of the bench and flip it off the edge. You could run into problems of breaking it and things coming apart. So he asked if you should sandwich between plywood, which isn't a bad idea. I don't think you really need to. If it's already on one sheet of plywood, you could bring that out, with the stained glass on top of it, halfway off the edge of the bench, and make sure you're holding on to the glass really well, the top and the bottom. One hand on the bottom, one on the top, and fold it off the edge of the bench. You don't have to go straight up and down, just enough to bring it safely down to the floor, and then you pick up the stained glass vertically, on a slight angle. Walk it away, turn it around, put it back, and then, so you have the back side facing up. And you do the same thing in reverse. You lift up the board, you put it, and you flip it back on your bench. That's the best way. As far as rebar support, I mean, it's got enough detail. It really doesn't need it, but you're going to have your weak spots here with your downward motion. And here, it's going to run into here. So if this ever failed, it would be right here. You crack here. You crack this. That's where you're going to fail. So you want to make sure when you do install this window, if you have a rebar, you could put one here. You could actually make a circle of rebar. Well, that looks like the edge, so you really can't. You can do it here. Yeah, to be safe, I would run 2 blocks down and 2 blocks up, and run it right across. Just right across. And you know, at the end of the day, you don't really see it. It becomes part of the integrity of the window. And you know, if you had a bar right here, it runs right across the lettering in the back, it'd be like a shadow right across the flag too. But you know what? It actually becomes part of the window. You know, I would say the aesthetic, but it doesn't destroy the aesthetics of the window. It just makes it look like an authentic stained glass window. I hope that makes sense. And don't ever compromise reinforcing a bar with bars. Restrip, if you put copper restrip along lines or in between the foil, it's still going to bend. You need a good horizontal support. You know, and do a vertical. If you got, you know, you're better off with a horizontal support. That prevents that sagging in time. And we may never see that happen. 50, 80 years from now, they'll have to deal with it. It's even, you know, with copper foil, the foil starts breaking, and you should reinforce it. See, 3 foot by 3 foot, you got 9 square feet, so you're over that 5 square foot rule. Yeah. You know, I would go 2 blocks up, go right across, and right across. They look like part of the window. It's like having trim on a car. You know, you have to have trim. Because I think Terry knows all the cuss words. He's got to find new ones, learn all kinds of new. He'll be fine. He's got this. Alright. Yeah, I was going to end. I need to work on my son. I don't know who that is. I think that's one of those people, the cartoon characters. We have a little thing about that here with using intellectual property, but being this is your creativity, I'll let it stand, but don't offer a pattern. Someone asks about it, I'm going to have to remove it. That's where the rubber meets the road. You know, once they start distributing intellectual property, you know, because it was a big thing with the Grinch. You know, the hand of the Grinch holding the ornament. Everybody wanted it. Everybody said, I want that pattern. And it became all-out share fest. And I had to put a stop to it because you could get in trouble for that, actually. You're distributing copyrighted, you know, property. It's intellectual property. And as well, something like this. Now, is your creativity, I'll let it stand for now, but if I see people start asking about a pattern, and you reply and say, yeah, I'll send you one, that's when I have to cut it off. And I could say, well, I never saw it, so I'm protected. But if I did see it, and if it's in here, I'd have to, I can't, you know, that, if you know me, I can't just lie like that. It's like, I saw it. Like, I'm just not going to say nothing. You know, I saw it. It's got to go. All right? Because I don't want to be implicated. It's all about, you know, guilty of association. And I don't want to be a part of it. All right? That goes for Mickey Mouse, Superman, all of that. Sports slogans. If you got permission, they say, yeah, go for it. Say it here. Yeah, the lawyer's on you, right? Say, I got permission to do this from blah, blah, blah. And I'll scroll right by it. Oh, you got permission. I'm not going to question it. If it's true or not, I'm just scrolling right. Oh, you can't hold me responsible. You said you got permission. Well, I'm not going to go look into it. So if you did get permission, make sure you post it somewhere in the subject matter of your post. And that's one of those rules, right? You got rules. Some people right here. So some people don't like rules, and they say, you're the pattern police. I say, no, I believe in rules. And legality of use. There's Harley Davidson. They'll come after you with guns a-blazing. You put Harley Davidson stuff up, you better watch out. And they do not mess around. And there's other Disney. You start putting Disney stuff up, then they see that stuff. They don't even mess around. They get the group gets a black eye from it. They'll go to Facebook and say, yank it. And once you get an IP violation, and you guys don't see it, the moderators, administrators see it. Or the administrator, the person who owns the group. Me, I see it. And I've gotten warnings. I say, warning, this is, if it continues, they're going to shut the group down. Who wants that? So if I see it, I say, all right, you know what? Get permission. It's simple. I've had a lot of people I told, say, you get permission. I delete the post out of caution, and I said, get the permission. You don't have to show me, prove me, but some do say, look, I got this permission. I said, okay, post away. As long as you have permission, you make sure you state that you have permission. And it clears me of any kind of implication of what you did. I was from that cartoon thing. I recognize it. But please, if I don't even know who Disney, I don't even know. I have no idea. But if it is and you did not get permission, please get permission or remove your post, okay? And I'm not being an idiot, Tippy Gray. Oh, you got 1.2 followers. Okay. We're live. Let me just check, guys. I'm doing my thing. Oh, there you go. Right here. Boom, boom, boom. Ding, ding, ding. Post gets shut down. I'm going to remove the post. Alright. Intellectual property. And please post if permission was granted. Very nice. I'm not mad. Intellectual property. I mean, you can't do that. It has confirmation of artist's permission. Right here. And then suggesting theft. Or, may I have a pattern? Right? Yeah, and if suggesting, say, oh, it's okay, you can be, that's what I'll say, all right, you're done, you're out of here. And if they become persistent about it, which people have, that was on that 5-fingered thing. They're telling me, that was one. It said, who are you, the intellectual property police? I said, you know what? You get all red letters and bold caps that the group is at risk of getting yanked. And there's 180, well, I don't know how many thousands of members there were at the time. And they all get shut down because you did not ask for permission, or you're being defiant about rules of getting permission. I have no place for that here. I have none. I mean, really, I have none. That's why I do. You know, I'm not going to suspend you. I just removed the post. But you've been noted. I didn't give a warning. I didn't give a warning yet, but I removed the post. So reach out to me, Tippy, if you want to discuss this, or better yet, just get permission. Okay? Huh. Enough of that. See, guys, that's what I do. I do it all the time, and it's not about my patterns. Or, you know, people I know. It's like, you know, they reach out. You know, they usually find out they're on their own, but it's this IP, intellectual property violations where it's a, you know, very lackadaisical attitude toward it. And, you know, the ramifications are severe. I think Facebook will give me a 2 or 3 strike rule on that one. But if I just ignore it, if I just scrolled past and said, all right, no one's asking for a pattern, I'll keep an eye on it. You know, maybe I'll mention something. Hey, did you get permission or what have you? I think that's a nightmare before Christmas. That's it. I just came to my head. I don't know who, Stein, I don't know, but I'm sure they're not allowing people to just make this stuff. So get permission, please, and then, in your post, say, I got permission. I got permission. And then you don't have to post a letter or anything. If it ever gets back to me, I say, oh, they got permission. Now it's on you. You go ahead and you got to, prove you got permission. And if Facebook comes after me, then I might have to come after you and ask for proof or whatever. I just as well delete it, because by Facebook coming after me, and you didn't make a little screenshot of your permission, which would be nice, next to your photo. So you have 3 photos. Like, here's your nice picture, and here's my permission slip. Here's my letter saying I could use it. That would be really good. That would be actually perfect. All right? Even if it's an email, it doesn't have to be signed or stamped or notarized. Just, you reached out and you got permission. All right? That goes for everybody. I'm looking at this really nice looking horse here. I was supposed to be done on the last post, but here I am telling you. I posted regarding a horse. Many of you reached out, and I'm thankful for that. I finished my piece today. Even had to deal with a few bumps and heat fractures. Happy and perfect about patina. Renaissance wax. I'll never go back. I think. Look at that shine. Oh yeah. Very nice. You got a tricky cut right there. And there, you got 2. I know it's the same. Yeah, it came out really nice. And sometimes the wax finish does make a difference. I was almost going to say, man, the color of that sky glass is perfect. But it's the real sky. Good job. Yeah, let's see. You get the pen. It's probably her pen. I don't know. Let's see. I always have to check that. I drew it up with poker. There you go. All right. Well, if Mary says yes, Tanya, please don't just lift the pattern. Make sure Tanya gives you permission, okay? I'm sure she'll be okay with that. You start selling it on Etsy. I don't think she'd like that. All right. A little bit of behind scenes of the world of an administrator. And, there's some other things that I'll tell you. It's not easy. And for the most part of the 88,000 members, you guys really play by the rules, and you're really kind and generous with your accolades and all that. And I love the group. It's a great group, and you know, yeah, we have a few bumps here and there, but that's life, right? Let's keep moving forward and do. And I say it like happy trails, happy glassing, right? I went from what Buck Rogers, happy trails. I'm dating myself. Was that Buck Rogers? Or was that? I don't know. But yeah, happy glassing, guys, and we'll see you again in the forum. And sorry I went a little long, but it's been a while. Here I am. That looks like a Pella window. Everybody have a nice evening, and we'll see you on the next go round. Oh, and by the way, last thing, I have a little delay in my giveaway I was going to do by the end of August. It may still happen. I got a few days left, but I want to make it really nice. I want to do a grinder of some sort, and I may bump it up to mid-September at that point, September 15th. But I'm going to start adding more patterns, free patterns for all members of my channel. So if you are a member, you'll see those new patterns in the cloud. All right. Just check, and I should start tagging them as new. But you can also see the updates on the dates of the files. And as well, I do put a note in the members only posts that you see that I added new patterns. All right, and I put a link to them. So I'm going to be throwing a couple more patterns up there. And if you're not a member, really consider joining. It's quite the perks. Really quite a lot of perks. And I may do in a couple of days. I actually gave away a hummingbird glass cutter a couple of weeks ago, and this person has not come forward yet. I've reached out a number of times. I don't think she wants it. And I hope it's going to happen to me. I'm going to put it up to give it away, and the next day she's going to show up. I know it. That's my luck. But, I want someone to have it. It's been sitting here. I'm looking at it. It's like, it's too small for my hand, and I don't push cut. But I know there's somebody out there that would love this hummingbird glass cutter, and maybe I'll give that away by the end of this month. I think I will on that. And I got all my giveaways were sent out to all the people that won last week, and I think I have one book I have to send out to somebody. Maybe one book. Hopefully they'll get back to me, and we'll get that. I have your book. I forgot her name, but please, if you heard this video, get your book. Call me. So I could send your book out to you. All right. Everybody have a nice evening, and we'll see you on the next go round. And happy glassing. Take care.